John Solomon. Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz is with us in studio. John, I got to begin with you. Mueller may have a conflict that leads directly to Russia. I might surprise some of my audience here. As FBI director, the efforts that they were using to actually help save a former FBI and a CIA guy, and we haven't seen this guy in 11 years, I am not concerned about that one bit. I don't care. I think any effort to save an American, and Robert Mueller and the FBI, I'm all for it. I want to be very clear. The issue becomes the hypocrisy of this, because this is the same Russian oligarch that they're using in the Manafort case, and they never pointed it out. So that's a problem for me. Not the little laws that were cited. There might be a violation of law, but I'm kind of glad they tried hard to save this guy. That's my natural gut.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think the real question is the whole Russia collusion case is, did someone ask a favor of Russia, right? Did Donald Trump collude and try to get a favor? Well, 6 or 7 years before collusion was a twinkle in the public's imagination, the FBI asked a favor of this same oligarch, the oligarch that's now a client and a witness against potentially Paul Manafort, and there's no disclosure. We in the public don't know. It doesn't appear that the courts know.
Well, let me ask you, did the FBI and Mueller ever tell Congress that they had asked this oligarch?
Great question. I talked to the Senate and House Intelligence Committee chairman.
By the way, they got the Russian oligarch to pay $25 million. Actually, part of me thinks it's genius. But then don't use the same guy against Manafort and don't mention that you know the guy.
Yeah, I think that's right. I talked to the Senate Intelligence, House Intelligence Committee chairman from that time, Bill Nelson of Florida, Mike Rogers of Michigan. They both said that we were never briefed, and they were surprised to learn that such an operation occurred without Congress being informed.
All right, I know people are talking about the legality of this, and there's a specific law, the Anti-Deficiency Act, which prohibits the government from accepting voluntary services. You know what? That to me is total BS. This is like the superfluous, idiotic bureaucracy. I want that American saved. I want us fighting to save that American. So I'm not faulting Mueller for that. I'm applauding him, actually, which surprises some people. It's the hypocrisy. And they didn't mention that this is the same oligarch in the Manafort case. They purposely kept his name out.
Well, and Sean, your show and the great reporting John has done has demonstrated that this is but one conflict of interest. The Mueller probe is an orgy of conflicts of interest, and any one of them taken independently could potentially be brushed aside, but viewed in their totality, it shows how corrupt and biased this investigation is. Also an important point on this oligarch, Deripaska. Senator Tom Cotton asked a question in February as to whether or not Deripaska was involved in the drafting of the dossier with Christopher Steele.
Was he?
And Christopher Wray would not answer that question in open session.
We're going to pull that tape.
So very, very important that this very oligarch could have had a role in telling lies about Donald Trump, and that we still don't know that as the American people.
All right, you do point out not only the hypocrisy, the double standard, what clearly seems to be, John, something they're trying to hide in this case. What other issues surround this that you discovered? Because you cite dozens of people here, or at least a dozen or 14 people in your article as sources that we've never known this before.
Yeah, listen, the people that first approached me were Robert Mueller's old comrades at the FBI who thought it was odd that they had asked this favor of Deripaska, and then he's missing from this case, even though there's a lot of evidence connecting it to him. I want to go back to something the congressman said. When you wake up tomorrow morning, I think you're going to know the answer to what Deripaska did with the FBI in relationship to the dossier. Stay tuned tomorrow morning. You're going to learn something very important about Deripaska and the dossier.
Did Deripaska have something to do with the dossier? Mr. Solomon, give us a preview, sir. Stop with the teasing. That's my job.
He didn't have anything to do with the dossier. It may be what he said about its allegations that'll be the news.
You know anything about this?
Only that Senator Cotton seems to be on the trail, and that we didn't get answers in open hearings. That certainly raises a lot of questions.
By the way, people, John, have been asking where you've been on the show. You've had a lot going on. You weren't feeling well. Welcome back. We're glad to have you back.
Thanks. Glad to be on.
Congressman, good to see you.
Yes, and I know we're all praying for a speedy recovery of our fantastic First Lady as well. So many millions of Americans joining us.
Amen. Absolutely. She's been amazing, and the media's been so vicious to her. I'm sick of it. Good to see you in studio. All right, when we come back, the Secretary of State, amazing interview that Mike Pompeo, he gives us a glimpse into what it's like to meet little rocket man Kim Jong-un. We'll check in with Sebastian Gorka and Geraldo Rivera and so much more. Stay with us.
As a control enthusiast, I'm all business when I travel. Even when I travel for leisure. So I go national, where I can choose any available upgrade in the aisle without starting any conversations or paying any F charges. What can I say? Control suits me. Go national. Go like a pro.
As an engineer, I know how to keep complex systems running like clockwork.
Dulcolax, the constipation expert, provides dependable, effective relief without anybody else noticing.